3 times, 2 weeks. I'm running the gauntlet. Okay, I got a simple presentation for y'all. Something I found really interesting and something I've been working on. So again, who am I? You've probably seen this way too much in the past 2 weeks. I'm Max. I'm your junior tech lead. And fun, interesting fact I found over the week: I spend too much time on stupid stuff. Okay, so just like a general intro for anyone who doesn't know, what is a rubber ducky? You probably saw some hacker movie, some random little fun little thing where it's like, hey, someone left USBs on the ground, and when you plug them in, my computer's gone, or my computer blows up. Not always like that. Most of the time it isn't. I'd say probably all the times it isn't. But a rubber ducky is a way of doing command injection through something that looks like a USB, or generally should look like a USB. So it does this by emulating a keyboard. It can send keystrokes and other like special keystrokes through the USB by just acting like a keyboard. Majority of the time, you're going to see like Hack 5 ones, which pretty expensive. You're going to need like a nation state actor to like sponsor if you're going to just throw those over there. Like I'm not going to throw those. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm not going to throw those in the parking lot to like get someone. Or we aren't going to go Mr. Robot. So yeah, you definitely not something that you can just like throw around, like seeing like maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. So is there a cheaper option? Wish comes in pretty clutch with a $2.43 $2.63 USB that looks like a rubber duck. So that's pretty dope. But yeah, there's really not much that we can get for very cheap. eBay cheapest I found was like eBay for $18 and kind of sketchy retailer. Apparently Walmart has a Wi-Fi enabled one. Danny? Everything with Wish does. Yeah, that's the Wish guarantee. That's the only Wish guarantee. It comes with malware. So yeah, so if you're really looking to get a rubber ducky, it's probably going to be over $20, pretty solidly, especially with shipping and delivery costs. No way to really get it cheaper. So how are we going to make our own cheaper? So there's this cheap little board called an A-Tiny or a Digispark A-Tiny micro Arduino, and based on where you get it from, it's like $1 to a little bit more. Like you can get 5 of them off Amazon Prime for like $12. Personally, that's what I did. I kind of broke them all, but yeah, AliExpress will get them to you in like 30 days or something. Always gotta love them. Oh, I went.
No, keep going.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I like died or something.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so what's important about that A-Tiny 85 Digispark? One has a USB just right there. I honestly don't think that there's another. I don't think there's another micro Arduino or just Arduino in general that has just a normal USB male adapter on it. So that's a huge plus because just straight out of the box you can just plug it into your computer. And we'll go into some of the downsides of just having that single adapter later. Hint, it gets pretty annoying. Another thing with micro Arduinos, anytime they're turned on or plugged in hierarchies, automatically run. There's a script set up that automatically runs them. And lastly, micro Arduinos just run like what is it? A modified C++. So anything you can do in C++, you can do with a micro Arduino. So just going further into what an Arduino is, because I'm sure everyone's heard it. Like, oh, I made a drone with an Arduino and like Ford. Like, everyone's heard that. They're like, at least probably me, because I'm just around like really nerdy people. So what is Arduino? Arduino is an open source hobbyist microcontroller. So basically, and I'm sure microcontroller is just as weird as Arduino. So microcontroller it's just a really basic computer. It is like a single processor on a PCB that has connections to it. You can very low level program it to do very low level stuff. Or if you build it up, you can get it like higher. Like I said, like I made a drone out of micro Arduino, people make 3D printers, and most of the time it's used for controlling hardware. Of course, we're not necessarily going to do that. We're going to mess up some hardware. Yeah. Did I miss anything? Yeah, and it's a really good delivery source for payload because, or pre-made payload, because these things do not have very good computation. They are built just to be the smallest processor possible on on a PCB. It is meant just to like send stuff out and do like very small calculations and nothing beyond that. You're not going to be like mining Bitcoin or anything on these. Hmm? Yeah. Arduino Bitcoin farm? Research presentation grant right there. So how do we write these payloads? So as I said, it's C++. There's actually people who have done this before. I linked someone's GitHub, and it's actually like a fully fledged conversion to go from Duckies script to a C++ Arduino script. So if you just plug in anything in, or plug in an Arduino, will automatically set up. It will and type all the keys. Of course, you can modify this. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. Really cool tool though. And again, it's modified C++. So if you know C or maybe not know C, but if you know C++, to me they're close enough. Someone's probably going to roast me for that. You can pretty much write this. So you can see in the pictures that like small little like Ducky script, GUI-R, which brings up your Windows command prompt, like the command R, string CMD, and enter. That just brings up command prompt for you in Windows. And then on the right is your big old Arduino script. So makeup of an Arduino script. How does this work? How does it set up? How are we going to write one? So it is very simple. It's like you've heard like kids play with these, and for that they're pretty simple. This is to get people into programming, something visual. That's why they're mainly hardware. So you have two special functions that are in every single program: the setup and the loop. I'm sure you guys can guess. Setup's kind of like main. As soon as you run it, or as soon as it turns on, it's going to go right through the setup. This is going to be perfect for our command line injections, because anytime anyone plugs it in, automatically will run. I'm sure some of you see the problem with that right now. We'll get into it. And loop is just anything you want to do continuously. So for rubber duckies, really don't have much that we want to do continuously, unless you want to get like really advantageous and like, I don't know, put a beacon off of it. I can't imagine. So the advantages of the Arduino is it is, like we discussed, cheaper. Customizable. Our hardware is generally kind of like limitless. Like there's people who made it out of like, I think that's a Arduino Uno. You can pretty much make that out of anything that like looks like a USB. Oh, you okay? Yeah, so you can, if you really want to, you can even flash your own custom boards with Arduino in order to run your own or in order to make your own PCBs. There's people who will actually make PCBs out of your custom designs. That's something huge, and I do not have the intelligence for that. And also better programmability. The biggest thing with Ducky scripts that I found kind of infuriating, there's no if, there's no else, there's no loops, there's no nothing. It is all just what you type in, and there's no conditionals. So theoretically, with an Arduino, you can do stuff a lot more complex. Of course, with something like the A-Tiny, I think it has like 6,000 bytes. So, and like 2,000 of them load the bootloader. So you really don't have a ton to write in terms of the really tiny ones that I got. So you do have to keep your scripts pretty short. So anything that's highly customizable, definitely better instead of writing them multiple times. So those are some of the advantages. And now the annoying part, the disadvantages. These are extremely fickle. I think I probably spent like 4 hours just figuring out the drivers for this. So as we talked about, there's only one port, the one that you plug in, and that's how you upload, that's how you execute, and that's how you do everything. So it has an automated script on how it's flashed. That every so many seconds it will insert or like stop and start. So when you first plug it in, it will turn on. You get your like little windows like boop, I'm in, and then it turns right off. In that little specific timing, you have to upload the drivers for it, figure that out, and it is. I started off this saying I recommend Tiny. I do not. Uh, it was very painful. I got like one to work, and it was absolutely terrible. Uh, and then also some like I bought like I've heard people. I was looking on some message boards and some people with that Tiny, just because it's really only that chip, so everything is virtualized on there. So there's no real like voltage regulators. It is like completely virtual voltage regulators, the way I heard, which is like super sketchy. Some people have had their USB ports fried, so I would definitely go with something a little bit more expensive than mine. I didn't know that originally. Also, small storage, as I mentioned, like 6,000 mega or 6,000 bytes or something. Not very large in terms of storage to upload, and also not as conspicuous. So you saw a little thing; it's like a little square. Anyone catches you doing that, anyone sees that in a parking lot, they're like, you know that's kind of sketchy. And finally, paint to set up. Like I said, I actually found that like picture that it's called Suicidal Duck. I don't know. I just felt that was a very thing very because the most annoying part of the rubber ducky was that just like booping sound that kept coming up and down and up and down. And honestly, I honestly broke one because I was really pissed on it. So, uh, yeah, it is a pain to set up, but they are really cool if you're able to finally get there. I wouldn't recommend the same route I did. This is just some of the lessons I learned along the way and the theory behind it. And any questions about it? Enzo.
What is it, like, do you have a model or something that you recommend people use?
So I saw a lot of them using an Uno, an Arduino Uno. Those are they're about the size of a flash drive, and then the only thing that sucks about those is they have a micro Arduino female adapter, so you have to do that to normal USB A male, which sucks. But I'd probably say it's a little bit better than mine. Only thing that messes up is you have to do your own custom soldering for that, probably.
Were you able to like get it to do stuff?
Question was I able to get it to do stuff? Not very well. Uh, I the the best thing that I did was it was annoying to my roommates, which I for a rubber ducky that's about all you need. It was beeping for probably an hour straight while I was trying to do the drivers. Uh, and more than an hour. But yeah, on top of that, I was able to like flash one. It worked. It worked once for some like command lines, and then it kind of just like, crashed. So maybe the presentation title shouldn't be $2 ducky. It should be like $2 ducky that works once. Uh, and you lose like a couple hours of your time for each of them. But of what I heard or what I've seen online, I think it might just be my own just like inability and maybe like my computer messing up. Uh, some people like load these up in a matter of minutes and it works for a lifetime. I don't know how they do it. They're much better at this than I am. I don't know.
Have you heard of something called a Arduino?
I have not.
It's essentially a rubber ducky based on the platform of a Arduino. So you
Oh, wow.
can code with like Arduino stuff, but it also takes, I think, Ducky Script and stuff.
That is awesome.
So that might be another option if you don't want to go to wish.com.
Yeah, I didn't go to Wish. I used the Amazon link, but yeah, I still thought it was funny when you looked up rubber ducky USB. First thing that comes up is Wish. So yeah, how much are those?
I got mine at a Kickstarter, so I don't know how much they cost now. I think they're about, yeah, it's a European product, so I think it's about 30 to 40 euros.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's like around the price of a rubber ducky, like a little less, but like it's now $2.
No, it's
$2
not.
works once and only takes 4 hours of your time.
You only need it to work once.
Yeah, you only need it to work once.
Much private USB port, but
Yeah, I just got a new computer. Definitely one of the USB ports doesn't work anymore.
wait, what?
Yeah, that even without it working, it technically works. Okay. Well, any last questions, or you're just gonna roast me?
Dude, you plug in a circuit like that costs $2 off Alibaba.com. You kind of deserve anything that happens to you.
I actually ordered from the Silk Road.
Wait, what? No.
No, it's Silk Road V2 now.
Silk Road V5, I ordered the $2.
Yo, no, I use Backpage for all mine.
Yeah.
That's not the only
Alright.
thing. There's a Backpage.com.